Jade and jade products from Myanmar are very famous in the world. Myanmar craftsmen create different kinds of jade products, from small souvenir to majestic mosaic, as well as religious items of jade beads and Buddha images. And now a jade pagoda has been built for public reverence for the first time in the country and the world as well. Wei Ro Sa Na Pagoda, or Khao Sien Pagoda, which is made up entirely of jade, was built in Amarapura township of Mandalay in 2012. A ceremony to enshrine religious objects and umbrella hoisting to the jade pagoda was held. The donor of the pagoda said that he stockpiled the jade for over 20 years to build this pagoda. Donor from II Kaing Jewelry Company, So Naing, said they used over 1,100 tons of jade for building this pagoda. They used 50 tons of the archway and 40 tons for the lake, 3,000 to 4,000 slabs of jade for the vane. He said he is very satisfied with his donation when he heard the need of sharing merits of the people. The pagoda is over 75 feet high and 176 feet in girth. The jade pieces and slabs that decorate the structure of the pagoda are worth $15 million. Chairman of Pagoda Analyzing Board, Aung Tien, said they listed systematically the jades donated by the well-wisher. Over 900,000 kilos of good quality jade was used in building the pagoda. The images of Buddha's life story are carved on the pagoda with Myanmar traditional styles. The pagoda features jade pieces to depict the Jataka, or stories of Buddha's previous lives, as well as the chronicles of Myanmar's kings. Monk Teza Nia said this is the first time he is paying homage to the jade pagoda. It's very significant as it is the first jade pagoda not only in Myanmar but also in the world. He believes that Buddha Sasana will flourish more due to this kind of donation. People in Mandalay as well as the whole nation hope that the largest jade pagoda will be a symbol for the Buddha Sasana flourishing as well as a tourist attraction for the region. In the southeast section of Metro Manila is the town of Lumban in the province of Laguna. It is the embroidery capital of the Philippines and the house of the historic Lake Caliraya. Welcome to Lumban, town of the finest handmade embroideries.
Lake Caliraya, yung man-made Lake Caliraya namin. So famous ang Lumban sa pagbubudda sa mga barong. Ito yung mga sinusuot ng ating mga pangulo, pangalawang pangulo, lahat ng mga senador, lahat ng local officials, pati ng mga dignitaries ay nagsusunod ng barong Tagalog na galing mismo dito sa bayan ng Lumban.
Embroidery has been part of the lives of many Lumban citizens like Mommy Monica.
Sa ngayong na 85 na ako, nagbuborda pa din ako. At ito din ang aking pinagpaaral sa aking mga anak at hanggang sa ngayong ay yung pa rin ang hanap buhay ko.
Lumban is where you can purchase beautiful Barong Tagalog and Filipiniana that are detailed and well designed.
Yung mga designers dito sa Lumban, gifted naman sila. Kanya-kanya silang style. No, pag papakita sila sa akin ng design, ina-approve ko muna bago i-production.
The industry contributed vastly to the growth of the province's economy.
Malaking bagay ang embroidery sa Lumban kasi nagbibigay ng trabaho ito sa mga taga-Lumban, lalo na doon sa mga taga-malayong barangay. Ayun, nakakatulong ang aming hanap buhay sa kanila.
Aside from being the town of finest handmade embroideries, you can also taste in Lumban their very own fresh kesong puti, or white cheese that is indeed delicious.
Yung na pinauulam ng mga magulang. Kasi magluluto pa nga sila. Halimbawa, isda, natatausan pa nila ang isda may amoy na hindi maganda. Keso na lang.
Kesong puti has been part of every meal of Lumban residents. Once one has visited the town, Don't forget to visit the Church of Lumban, one of the oldest churches outside Metro Manila and for a time the center of all missionary activities in Laguna. That is the town of Lumban, simply historical and full of arts. Mangroves are disappearing at an alarming rate in many countries, and Myanmar is no exception. Total mangrove forest cover in Myanmar in 1980 amounted to 531,000 hectares, but by 2010 only 312,000 hectares were left, according to Forest Department statistics. The Ministry of Environmental Conservation and Forestry is implementing mangrove forest conservation activities in collaboration with international organizations. Recently, a workshop on mangrove forest management was held in Yangon with the aims to identify the current condition of mangrove forests in Myanmar, share knowledge on how to conserve them and how they are vital in disaster risk reduction. Experts said it is important that Myanmar maintain its mangrove forests, not only to ensure communities within them have something to source from livelihoods, but also to naturally mitigate risks when natural disasters strike.
But when we have a margin of barrier, such as a patch of mangrove trees, they really limit and lessen the effects from these storms. And local communities would then depend on these organisms plus the mangrove itself for firewood, for building, for construction material, and of course marine and coastal organisms for food.
Ni Chiang said when we have emerging of barriers such as a bunch of mangroves of trees, they really limit and lessen the effects from these storms. Local community within depend on these organisms plus the mangrove itself for firewood and for building, for constructing materials, and of course marine and coastal organism of food. Mangrove forests can be found in Thanin Thalel and Aye Yawadi regions and Rakhine State. Natural mangrove forests in Aye Yarwadi region had suffered about 80% destruction due to Cyclone Nargis in May 2008 and the intrusion of agricultural land and fish and shrimp ponds, according to the survey conducted by the Forestry Department after Nargis. In Thanin Thalel region, however, mangrove forests barely depleted. Staff Officer of Forest Department, Dr. To Ang, said the people living in coastal areas depend on these forests for their living. The degradation of mangrove forests will directly affect socio-economic and environmental conditions of coastal communities. Meanwhile, the workshop is to know solutions on the depleting mangrove forests. Experts say finding ways to conserve mangrove forests must be inclusive and based on a local content. Government officials are confident the workshop has provided a platform for them to know what to do next. Security. Russia is one of 4 compulsory foreign languages for students at the People's Police Academy. As teaching and learning of Russia in Vietnam is quite difficult, these Russian classes have received practical support from the Russian Center for Science and Culture in Hanoi. Senior Lieutenant Du Ti Tu Trang, a Russian lecturer at the People's Police Academy, said the Russian Center for Science and Culture has provided them with abundant support in the last 2 years. He said the Russians helped them to connect with Russian specialists twice a year. Natalia Safinskaya, a specialist at the Russian Center for Science and Culture in Hanoi, said they want to continue to teach Russian at the academy. She said it is essential to develop Russian language in education facilities in Vietnam. Security and defense cooperation is one example of the collaboration between the Vietnamese Ministry of Public Security and the Federal Security Service under Russian government since 2013. The Vietnamese People's Police Academy and Lomonosov Moscow State University have also collaborated to exchange delegations and training courses annually. About 40 students from the People's Police Academy are sent to Russia for training every year. Lieutenant Colonel Chow Huang Long, head of Department of International Cooperation, said People's Police Academy Russia has two strengths. He thinks they are criminology and crime investigation. These are two conventional strengths of Russia. Lieutenant General Professor Dr. Nguyen Xuan Yem, director of the People's Police Academy, said they send staff and students to Russia for undergraduate and graduate training. There are also exchange of research and lectures and high-ranking delegations between the two countries. Last but not least, the exchange of information and curriculums keeps them updated. Malaysia is projected to have achieved a reduction in the greenhouse gas intensity of gross domestic product 35% by year end. This is in line with the country's commitment to reduce carbon emissions by up to 40% by 2020. Prime Minister Najib Razak said this demonstrates the country's efforts in striving for sustainable development, including lower emissions development, while also dealing with the adverse impacts of climate change. Green technologies have huge potential to drive economic growth and to improve the well-being of the country's population.
With proper execution and monitoring, it has been forecast that green businesses will contribute something like 22 billion to our GDP by 2020 and up to 60 billion by 2030.
Najib was speaking at the 6th International Green Tech and Eco Products Exhibition and Conference Malaysia, or iGEM 2015, in Kuala Lumpur recently. On recycling, the Premier noted that Malaysia should be able to recycle 40% of its waste by 2020, up from the present 14%. This again would have its economic benefits, saving 500 million ringgit over the next 5 years. Recycling creates new business opportunities and employment, generate revenue through the sale of recycled goods, and help the country conserve its raw resources.
Recycling may be new to some, but it brings many benefits to the economy. Malaysians today generate 36,000 tons of solid waste per day. 30% of that waste is recyclable and has a potential economic value of 788 million ringgit per year.
Meanwhile, the government, through the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water, has embarked on a pilot project to transform Langkawi into Malaysia's first low-carbon island. A feasibility study on low-carbon Langkawi 2030 is being undertaken under a collaboration with the government of South Korea, with Jeju Island used as a comparative benchmark. The project will create a ripple effect on local industries, creating more job opportunities for locals and increase the island's income by promoting green tourism. Najib said he looks forward to further collaborations with global partners to expand Malaysia's capacity in green technology.